The base of the card is the usual 8.5 by 5.5, but instead of scoring it at 4 1/4 like we normally do for a card, you're going to score it 2 1/8 inch this side and 2 1/8 inch that side. And you want to ensure that when you close it up, those edges meet. Okay. The tighter those edges are together, the better it will be when you're done, because if there's any space in between, it will show on the top page. So you want to make sure that they're as close as you can get. Okay. And for this, I've used Seaside Spray. Okay, the designer series paper that's going to go on the top part, it's going to go on top of this, okay, of your base. It is 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and it's going to be cut into 3 pieces, and each piece is going to be 1 3/4 inch. Okay, so you just need to cut that into 3 pieces, and they're all going to be 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so I stamped, this is the part that's going to be on the very front of the card, my design, and I used the Timeless Tulips, stamped that, and I've stamped those on there. And the dimensions for this top piece that's going to be cut is 4 7/8. So 4 7/8, sorry, I just drew a blank there. 4 7/8 by 3 3/4. That's the dimensions. 4 7/8 by 3 3/4. Okay, so when we cut this piece, you're going to cut it into 3 pieces, and each piece is going to be 1 5/8. 1 5/8. Okay, so I've cut up my designer series paper and my stamp, and again, each of these is 1 5/8, and each of these is 1 3/4. So that way, when you glue them together, you're going to get the nice edge, the border around there, so you can see the color. So we want to take and we want to glue these on here, and so you get those glued on, and then you can set them aside for the next part. Okay, so a little trick to make sure everything's lined up when you're gluing them on is to make sure that you have the outer edges lined up neatly, and then when you place on the stamped piece of paper, it lines up perfectly. That's what you want to ensure when you're gluing these pieces on. So there are my tulips all stamped together. I've got these parts all glued together. Okay, and yet they are still separate. We have to keep them separate because they are going to attach differently when we put this on here. For the inside of the card, I wanted designer series paper on all 3 panels. If you wish to do the same, the dimensions for these pieces of paper are, for the large one, it's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. That's one that'll go right there in the back. The 2 side ones are 1 7/8 inches by 5 1/4. I chose a designer series paper that went with the back of this, the back of the panel that was cut, okay, because it will show when you open your card. What will happen is it's going to be up there. When you open the card, it will show. So keep that in mind when you are planning out your paper and your colors, so that it does go with everything. So I just stuck with the same DSP that was on the back already. For the inside of my card, I stamped using the Peaceful Moment stamp set, and I picked Wishing You Every Happiness This Special Day Will Bring. And I cut it out with the layering oval die, and this is what I got. Okay, and then I will put it on there like that. The reason I did this, because normally we fill this up with the white space, I did this so it show off the DSP. You can still cut a square piece of, rectangular piece of white paper or plain paper that goes inside. That's fine. I just wanted to do something a little different, so I did this. And that way it really shows off the DSP, and I wanted it to really shine. So there I have it attached. Okay, so you can still see it. It's quite visible. And this paper's light enough that someone could sign on there in a dark pen and you will still see their signature. And now comes the fun part. Okay, so what you want to do is line up. Whoop, you want to line up the pieces that you cut out, and you want to get them lined up on the top. Okay. And you're going to glue them there. However, when you glue them, you want 2 pieces to be on the left-hand side and 1 piece glued on the right-hand side. So when you glue, you're only going to glue half of it. So if I do this, I'm only going to put glue on this half of this piece. Okay, I want to make sure I don't glue it here because I want my card to still open. But to have the interlocking gate, you're going to have the top and bottom glued on the left side of the card and the middle part glued on the right side. Okay, so that's what you want to do. And make sure you keep everything lined up exactly how you want it to go. Okay, okay, so there it is, all finished. When you open it up, you get that on the inside, and when you close it up, you want to make sure you interlock again, and it locks up nice like that. Okay. Thank you for watching.